Trippin Engles present Lola's Antenna Upgrades, brought to you by RVBuiltFor2.com. This is part 2 of Lola's antenna upgrade. In the first part, you can see the link below, we covered removing the existing satellite dish. This part will install the two antennas, Wi-Fi Ranger and the WeBoost cell phone booster. In the first part, we covered the tools and equipment as well as the antennas that we will be installing, and then we removed the satellite dish on the roof of Lola. Preparing for the cable run. For our inside installation, the existing King Dome controller is set into a panel. We hope to remove that switch there and be able to tie into the electrical for the new equipment, and also remove that panel to have access to the cable run that goes up to the roof. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is turn off the 12 volt power that we've got here, because I don't want to get shocked in taking this equipment off here. So I'll do that first. Fortunately, the controller's right here. Okay, lights are off. Just to make sure, I went ahead and tried to turn the satellite searching on, and the light doesn't come on or anything, so it is disconnected. All right. So we got an RJ45 plug here, and we'll have to check to see if there's power to that or not. So let's go ahead and remove the access plate here, access pad. All right, lots of wires. So we've got the satellite coax wire, and this is obviously the cable run to the antenna. There is an RJ45 plug that unplugs from the back of the controller. In my installation, I traced that back to a Y in the cable. One side had a standard 12 volt connection for power, and the other side went to the controller. So that gave me access to 12 volt power. For the coax connectors, I disconnected those as well, and then had a partner stay down below in the RV to help pull cables and identify the cable that can be used to pull the cable run. For the installation of the Wi-Fi Ranger, in order for the antenna mast of the Wi-Fi Ranger to get past the King Jack antenna, I had to build a small standoff. I used a piece of rain gutter and clamped the rain gutter to the first mast of the crank-up antenna, and then use 2 more clamps to clamp the Wi-Fi Ranger to the standoff. Here you can see that it gives you 1.5 inches or 2 inches past the point of the king jack antenna for the Wi-Fi Ranger antenna. You also have to make sure that there's enough room between the standoff and the king jack antenna when it is all the way down. So before you tighten everything up, put the antenna down and make sure that there's enough clearance there. Now we clean up the access hole just like we cleaned off the mounts for the satellite dish. Scrape off as much as we can. Use some mineral spirits to remove the last of the die-core and adhesive, and then use a magic eraser to do a final cleanup around the area. For the WeBoost antenna, we put a little die-core on the roof, and then some die-core all around the edge of the pie pan, and then attach that to the roof. So using just simply the die-core as the adhesive. And then the magnetic mount WeBoost antenna was put on top of the pie pan. The pie pan is used as a ground plane. Here are the cable run steps that I did. With someone helping you, identify a cable that can be pulled and then attach a string to the inside end. Next, from the roof, pull that cable until the string shows. So basically pull the cable completely out. Next, disconnect the string from the old cable and attach it to the new cable. And then from the inside, have your partner pull that string until the new cable or cables are pulled through. Once you have the cables run, align the cables through the access channels in the access plate, and then put a layer of die-core on the roof, and then put the access panel on top of that, and then screw that in. Put die-core, a second layer of die-core over each of the screw heads and around the die-core that you already placed, around the corner of the access panel. Today we're going to finish up the work that we did a few days ago, sealing up the die-core, putting some of the turn-a-bond tape over where we put die-core, and also a strip down to make sure that the wires that we've got to the 2 antennas don't flop around. This completes part 2 of the Lola antenna upgrade. In the first part, we removed the satellite dish. In the second part, we removed the access panel and installed the antennas, did our cable routing, and sealed everything up with Dicor and then Eternabond. The next part covers the interior installation.